Enver Larney, the past 25 years, has been hard at work capturing intoxicating scenes from around the world. Oil on canvas. After more than 50 one-man shows exhibited globally since 1972, his works appear in many collections and institutions, the likes of the Chase Manhattan Bank, New York, the Musee d'Affiche in Paris, as well as the countless private collections around the world. Joining us now in our Sea Point studios is Mr. Enver Larney himself. A very good morning to you, and it's an honor to have you, sir. Welcome.
Thank you very much.
Tell us more about yourself, about Enver Larney, for those who don't know your work and yourself, of course.
I was born in Cape Town, South Africa, and I grew up in Bridgetown, which is on the Cape Flats. Then from there I went to another suburb called Penland Estate, from where I was exiled in 1972 after graduating from the Michaela School of Fine Art associated with the University of Cape Town. And after that, most of my time in Europe and the US, Australia, you know, and in various places around the world.
Mm-hmm. Was painting always your passion?
Yeah, I think I must have been about 4 years old when I started dabbling in oils.
Mm-hmm. And how did it come about that you sort of made this a career for yourself and of course for many people who enjoy your artwork?
Well, I think the catalyst in my life has been Dulcie September, who had me sub A, sub B, standard 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then she was arrested in my presence and incarcerated. Mm-hmm. Went to Lusaka after she came out of prison. Mm-hmm. And from there was sent to Paris, and she was killed there.
Mm-hmm. Was that part and parcel of your inspiration?
Yeah, she told me when I was maybe 8 years old, you would either have to write or paint, of course, you know, in order to survive here.
Mm-hmm. Modern day today, many years later, where do your creativity come from?
Nature, the earth, you know, the protection of the environment.
Mm-hmm. Is that what you focus on these days in terms of your painting?
Yeah, you know, the recourse of humans are, you know, well, I mean, it's the natural world, and I spend all my time, you know, in nature. I try to work in places where there's not many humans about.
What other artist or perhaps art movement would you say influences your work?
There's a few. My work is compared to Sisley, Alfred Sisley, you know, that grew up in Paris during the mid-19th century, and of course my own inspiration would come from those painters who paint in the way that I do, which is immediately on the spot in the open with oils, and that's Van Gogh, Sisley, Morisot, Pizarro. Gauguin painted a few times in this manner when he was 22 years old, Monet, Renoir. But in a contemporary sense, I've not met anybody that paints immediately on the spot. It takes me about 6 hours to complete a canvas.
Oh, I tell you. How's your work been received here in South Africa, Mr.?
The South Africans aren't aware of me. They're not even aware that I'm alive at the moment.
Mm-hmm. And we need to change that because, I mean, a great artist like yourself being here. Are you going to do an exhibition in Cape Town or in South Africa soon?
It's not really an exhibition. I've not made my works available to the public for the last 15 years because they're too valuable in the world. I do sell them to collectors all over the world. Mm-hmm. Some of these collectors have 50 to 100 of my works. South Africans are not informed about me, I guess, because I mean, you know, initially I was raised on the good side of the mountain here in Cape Town. So you know, what goes on the other side, nobody knows.
Mm-hmm. What is your message to ordinary South Africans having not been able to see your work over so many years and they would like to see it?
Yeah, I do intend to have my works in a trust, either in the US, Australia, or South Africa, but the mechanics for setting this up does not exist here, I guess, and I also would like that my works be seen by, by anybody, and I'm also aware of the fact that nobody should ever pay to see these works.
Have you been in discussions with any of the galleries here in South Africa as yet?
No, I've had no contact with South African galleries at all.
Sir, we need to change that, but thank you so much for your time and joining us here.
Thank you very much. It's an absolute pleasure to be in South Africa. I'm totally fascinated by the exquisite beauty of this, of the Western Cape. And I've spent some time out here in the desert and just painting. The works I'll be presenting to South Africans in Cape Town is my attempt to make them accessible to collectors here. And so I've made a little package of 11 works that will be shown in the Alan Gray finance offices here on the waterfront on February the 3rd. But that is just so that South Africans can at least have access to my work.
I thank you once again for your time and all the best of luck.
So thank you very much, sir.
Well, there you have it, hey? World-class painter on our own doorstep, born and bred here, and we don't know him. Have you seen his work? Well, you have a chance, perhaps in Cape Town. He said he'll exhibit there at one of the companies there. That was Enver Larney in our Sea Point studios.